If you've ever seriously picked up a weight, you've probably asked yourself the big question, how much muscle can I actually build? Like, what's my true natural limit? Well, today we're diving deep to unlock that answer. And trust me, it's way more interesting than just some number on a chart. Let's get into it.
It's the question that's always in the back of your mind, right? You see these incredible physiques out there, and you hear all this talk about a hard genetic ceiling, but is that real? Is there some kind of hidden blueprint inside you that decides your fate? Well, we're about to find out.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to bust a huge myth about the so-called natural limit. Then, we'll look at real athletes who totally smash that number. We're going to explore how your skeleton itself sets the stage for muscle, then dive into the genetic code that runs the whole show. After that, we'll get real about how long this all takes, and finally, we'll redefine what your potential really means.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about the one number that's pretty much dominated this whole conversation for decades. It all comes from a tool that tries to put a score on just how jacked a person is. And that tool is the Fat-Free Mass Index, or FFMI. You've probably heard of BMI, right? Well, think of FFMI as its way cooler, more athletic sibling. Instead of just looking at your weight and height, it focuses specifically on your lean mass. Your muscle, your bones, everything but the fat, which gives us a much, much better picture of actual muscularity. Now, don't worry, you don't need to memorize the formula. The key thing to know is that it adjusts for your height. And this is so important because it lets us compare someone who's 6'5" to someone who's 5'7" on a totally level playing field. It's basically a standardized score for your gains.
And this is the magic number, 25.0. See, way back in 1995, a famous study looked at natural athletes versus steroid users, and they found that pretty much none of the natural guys went over an FFMI of 25. And just like that, 25 was crowned the absolute genetic ceiling for anyone training clean.
But hold on, is that really the end of the story? Is 25 some kind of unbreakable biological law that no natural lifter can ever get past? Well, let's actually look at the evidence.
Let's hop in a time machine for a second, back to the golden age of bodybuilding, way before steroids were even a thing. And what do we find? We find legends like John Grimmick, Steve Reeves, George Eiferman. All of them were already cruising past that 25 limit. These guys were living, breathing proof that the ceiling was way higher than anyone thought. And if you think that's just old school history, check this out. A study on modern, elite college football players, some of the most drug-tested athletes on the planet, found that the average lineman was already over 25, and the max, a jaw-dropping 31.7. This proves that for the genetic elite, that 25 barrier isn't just breakable, it gets completely shattered. Okay, so if 25 isn't some hard and fast rule, then what actually determines your potential? Well, the first part of the puzzle isn't your muscles at all. It's the actual frame they're built on, your body's blueprint. Think of it like this. Your skeleton is the scaffolding for a building. A bigger, thicker, more robust frame can just plain support more muscle mass. A simple way to check this is to look at your wrists and ankles. And the science is crazy on this. Two guys who are the exact same height could have a difference of over 10 kilos, that's 22 pounds, in their lean mass potential just based on their bone structure alone.
And now, we get to the really fun part. If your skeleton is the scaffolding, your DNA is, well, it's the engine, it's the gas pedal, and it's the brakes, all rolled into one. Welcome, my friends, to the genetic lottery.
First up, we have a gene called myostatin. The easiest way to think about it is as the brake pedal on muscle growth. It literally creates a protein that tells your muscles, hey, whoa, that's enough, time to stop growing. Some people are born with a rare mutation where this brake pedal is basically disabled, and they end up with just insane muscle mass, even as kids.
So if myostatin is the brake, then a gene called ACTN3 is the accelerator. It's known as the speed gene because it's absolutely essential for those powerful, explosive, fast-twitch muscle fibers. But it gets even better. We're now finding out it also plays a huge role in how sensitive your muscles are to growth signals from hormones like testosterone.
And get ready for this because the difference here is absolutely mind-blowing. In one study, muscle cells with the functional, high-octane version of this gene grew by over 45% when exposed to growth signals. But the cells with the deficient version? They grew by a measly 3%. That means two people could have the exact same hormones, but one person's muscles are just primed to grow like crazy. It's a total game changer.
So let's just recap your personal genetic toolkit. You've got myostatin, which is your brake. You have ACTN3, which is your accelerator. And then you have your androgen receptors, which decide how sensitive your engine is to the fuel, your natural testosterone. The unique combination of these three is what really determines your genetic horsepower.
So let's say you won the genetic lottery. That's great. But how long does it actually take to get anywhere close to that potential? This is where we got to talk about patience and a little bit of realism.
We all know about newbie gains, right? That magical first year of proper training where you can pack on a mind-boggling 9 to 11 kilos of muscle. But as you can see here, that rate of progress takes a nosedive. In year 2, it's cut in half. Year 3, it's cut in half again. That's the law of diminishing returns, folks. The closer you get to your limit, the harder you have to work for every single ounce of muscle.
And here's the realest takeaway of all. Finding out what you're truly capable of doesn't happen in a year, or even 2. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We're talking 5, maybe even 10 years of consistent, smart, optimized training and nutrition just to get in the same ballpark as your ultimate physique. So, after all of this, busting the myths, looking at the science, the genetics, how should we really think about our potential? It's time to put it all together and kind of redefine what a limit even is. Let's boil it down to the 4 keys. Number 1, that FFMI 25 rule is just a statistical average, not some unbreakable wall. 2, your skeleton is the physical scaffolding that sets the stage. 3, your genes are running the show, the brake, the accelerator, and the engine sensitivity. And finally, 4, time and effort are the price you have to pay to even see how far your own personal horizon goes.
And this really just says it all perfectly. Obsessing over some theoretical number you read online is a total waste of energy. The focus shouldn't be on the destination. It should be on the process. The only real way to find out what you're made of is to pour years of smart, consistent, passionate work into the journey.
Because at the end of the day, your potential isn't a number in a textbook. It's a journey. It's a process of discovery. So the real question isn't, what's my limit? It's, how far am I willing to take this thing? That's where the real power is.
Hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the science of muscle, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more breakdowns just like this coming your way. Thanks for watching.